Sounds good.
So, all right, midday, how's it going?
Going great. We are excited about everything we're seeing. I've been to 5 schools today. Really happy to report that our enrollment across the district is up for the first time in a long time. And that's a sign of, we're on the move. People want to be with us, so that's great.
So a lot of buses with 1 or 2 kids or empty. Are you getting enough kids? And how is this going to be sustainable economically?
So again, we're excited to see an uptick in enrollment overall. We wanted to make sure we provided the added service in our shuttles. In a lot of cities, it takes up to a month and a half for folks to really take advantage of the shuttles. People, the first couple weeks, like to drive their kids. So looking at data from other cities, usually we see the big increase, a little bit later. So we will certainly monitor that. And in the event that the eligible students don't want to use the shuttle service, we will expand it and offer it to more Newarkers. So as long as we're offering them, we want them to be full, and we'll continue to monitor that over the next month or so. We were able to find efficiencies in our current system. Before One Newark and universal enrollment, we spent a lot of money on buses, but we did automate the system. We were able to track, number of people on and off. We worked penny per. So by and large, we were able to find it through efficiency, which is one of our core principles.
Were you concerned with some of the boycott threats today, and have you seen it affect attendance?
Well, obviously time on task is critical. We know that most kids in Newark are behind, and every single second counts, which is why we've extended the day. It's why we've extended the year in many of our schools. And so, we hope we can find ways to work through any challenges or disagreements that are not about hurting kids and putting them behind. And I think most families know that. So we're seeing a pretty similar pattern of attendance across the district. It's always hard to get clean attendance numbers day one, but this is my 4th school year, and I can tell you the schools I've been to look to be similar. Short week, unfortunately folks don't come back often for the short week. So that's happened also for years. Something we hope to address in collective bargaining, but I'm seeing a pretty similar pattern across the city, and I know most families are not only happy but relieved to drop their kids off day one.
How did your meeting with the mayor go? Did you go to the school?
We did. We went to the Spencer campus, which has Miller Street and Spencer. Kids were in school, kids were learning environments were set up, both principals were working together, registration was rolling. Our job to work together. Our kids' futures are at stake. Every year that a kid gets behind, we're making huge decisions for them. So bottom line, we've got to come together. We have worked together in the past. I know he's passionate about kids. I'm passionate about kids. This is not about personalities, and it's not about politics. It's about children.
Some parents have been dealing with some confusion today with their kids, showing up at school and then their names not being on the list or the roster. What would your message be to those parents, and how would you tell them parents today?
So each situation is different. Remember, there are 43,000 students in Newark, and prior to universal enrollment, those families had to go school to school to try to resolve their issues. We served over 3,000 families in the last 10 days prior to school opening. Of course, in a system this big, you're always going to have individual concerns and glitches, and we have worked feverishly to give good customer service and work that through. I also want to point out that a lot of that frustration has to do with families that came to schools where they wanted to be, not where they were enrolled. And that happens every year. Remember the lines around Ann Street, people camping in front of First Avenue, people crying when they didn't win the lottery for charters. Some of the frustration and confusion is that families didn't get into where they wanted to get in. And that is something that we have to address. Only 1 in 4 schools in Newark are highly sought after. And so when you see that level of frustration, often it's about that. It's about families really wanting to get into a small number of schools that families really want. And I really empathize with that. So I would say we're working very hard to get to the day when every school is a school of choice. And to the extent there were any glitches, which of course there always are, we will absolutely work to resolve them. I just want to point out that those things happen in any big system. And our job is to respond with kindness and customer service and empathy, and that's what we're doing, and we're doing that quickly. One last question, because I got to get into our, anyone? Oh, you guys good?
Good.
All right, perfect.
Thank you.
So